What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wax Pack Poetic. It's me again, your buddy Lou. I am doing this. I think this is only my third video, and I already have a guest, a big guest, in the YouTube community, the sports card community. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. Baseball collector Mike. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, Lou. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. I've been watching your videos, and I'm really I'm number one impressed with your collection. Impressed with your baseball room. Your videos are great, and but really, I mean, as a guy just getting back into collecting after like a pretty long layoff, like I just want to pick your brain about so much because there's so much has changed. So I guess let's start with, you have a vast vintage card collection.
I do. I guess it's all relative. I guess
right. Compared to, especially compared to mine. But so one of the things I've been doing through my blog and kind of challenging myself is starting up a vintage card collection on a budget. So I know you're the man, and I've seen some of your videos and stuff, and you have some good ideas on how to go about this. So what are the best ways, in your opinion, to start a vintage card collection on if you're on a relatively tight budget?
Sure. First piece of advice, and probably the most important thing, is don't be afraid of mid-grade. I think that everybody thinks they need, these super high grades, and I'm telling you, it's hard to do that on a budget. Okay, great, you'll get one card a month, or and at the end of it, it's about having the card. And yes, you want a nice example and all. I'm not trying to say to go out there and buy ones and twos, but if you're savvy and just patience. Too many collectors try to do too much. I've been doing this since 1981, however long that is, 38 years. And I'm telling you, man, it doesn't happen overnight. People want to have all this happened, over 38 years. And so, and granted, in the last decade or so, my collection's really grown just from been able to have more discretionary income and be able to do that, and an understanding wife and all those things that it takes. But don't be afraid of mid-grade. Be patient. You only need one, right? You only need one good one for your collection and whatever card you're looking for. And so don't settle. Be patient. Don't be afraid of mid-grades. So you're familiar with collector grade versus investment grade on slabs and stuff?
So that's I am now, but those terms were I first heard them watching your videos. And at first I wasn't, but for somebody maybe watching, and maybe I have it mistaken, just go through what the terms mean, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so for a collector grade, it's pretty simple. Whatever decade that card is, 40s a 4, 50s a 5, 60s a 6, 70s a 7. To me, vintage is 80 and before.
Right.
So that's kind of my vintage definition. Everybody's is slightly different, but that's relatively normal from a definition standpoint. And so anything in those, if you get a 6 in the 60s, that's a solid card, what we call a collector grade. And I didn't coin the term. I just adopted it and think it's a great way to think about your collection. And then investment grade is pretty much anything, especially what we would classify as vintage. 7 and above would be, an investor grade.
Right, what you make the money
on that
on.
Stuff. But, but like, let's take 71 tops, for example. Mm-hmm. 7 would be a collector grade, but I would argue on that set, you're going to be picking up 5s and 6s because the premium is so high for that set because of the sensitivity it has to grading, right? So just don't be afraid of that. Don't be like, oh, I got to get 7s, or in the set. You don't really have. It's for you, man. It's your card. Get something you like and something you can afford, and don't be and be patient. That's it.
I think too that people have to decide if they're trying to invest or collect. So I collect for the fun of it and for what I appreciate. So I think in another video I did that you saw, I was showing off some of my cards, and I got a 2.5, a 57 Willie Mays in a 2.5,
Right.
and there's a really one small thing on the back of the corner has some paper loss, but the rest of the card looks. I wish I had it in front of me. It looks really nice. The colors are bold. It's well centered, which is big for a lot of the old cards. Now, I personally will go low grade. Like, I'll look if I see a low grade that kind of presents well. I'll buy it in a second, especially if it's centered. I prefer centered. I could deal with like rounded, a little bit of worn edges and corners for old cards. I actually kind of like it a little bit. I think it gives it some charm for the older cards. But I'm mostly about centering. I like a nice centered card.
Yeah, don't. I think that's wise, and always buy the card, not the grade. You hear people say that all the time, and it's so true. Buy the card. If it presents well and it's got, who gives a crap about the back, really? I mean,
Right.
You want it to be nice, but I think your Maze is a great example of that. Buying the card, not the grade.
Thanks. Yeah, that was. I was surprised, and I got it. I think I bought it for $40 or $50. But even when I was looking, 3s and 4s were going for over, around 100, maybe a little more, if I remember correctly.
Have you noticed since you got back into the hobby that it's really exponential? I mean, a 4 is X,
Yes,
and then a 5 is X times 2, right? Or I mean, it's unbelievable. It's not
crazy.
Yeah, it's exponential.
I don't understand that. That's one thing that I have not understood, because we were talking about this yesterday when I spoke to you on the phone. We were talking about specifically 91 Stadium Club Jeff Bagwell, which is a card that I have, or that I just recently bought for that the 300 great card set, and there was a 10. It was like $30, and I bought a 9, and I think I got it for like $6. At 4 sharp corners, and it was just, to me, I'm keeping it, so I would rather buy more cards, and it's not like I was buying them one, but that's just that shocks me so much. It's just like, you could buy it even with 9s and 10s, especially. You could buy a 9 and a card, and it looks great, and a 10 could be 10 times more money. It's fascinating.
Do you have a 9 slab in front of you anywhere close within arm's length?
Yeah, actually, I do. I have a.
All right. What does it say? What does it say under the 9 on the flip? What does it say under the 9? Mint. It's a mint card. There's nothing wrong with mint, right? Yes, mint's good.
And
right. So
the card I have is actually your boy,
Josh Hamilton. There you go.
Yeah, he's part of my. I'm collecting one card from all the MVPs. So
nice.
Yeah, so I got this card pretty cheap too, $5.
Yeah, mint is just fine. So buy 9s and sell 10s. That's kind of
Eric's saying.
That's Eric's saying for sure.
Yeah, that's a great line. I love that. Do you have any? What is maybe the one vintage card in your collection that you feel like it was a steal? It was a super bargain. So just so for reference, right? My challenge to myself is that I'm doing with my blog is anything 1965 and earlier. I have a budget of $100 per card.
Yeah.
Anything 66 to 75, I'm $75 a card, and anything between 76 and 80 is $50 a card. So maybe close along those lines, because I know you have some really, really good cards. But what do you think? Do you have one off the top of your head that you remember that you can't believe that you got it for the price that you did?
Well, the one that comes to mind is not in those ranges, but it was the Hank Aaron rookie I got at the National last year.
Yes, that's so great too. What
deal on that?
Yeah.
You want me to grab it?
Yeah, please. I love that card.
Luckily, I know right where it is. I'm going through the beast right now. Okay. Here it is. Norman's. So there's my Aaron. It's it's only a 3.
But it looks amazing. It's
a beautiful. Yeah, it's It's a gorgeous 3. I paid
Yeah.
$1,000 for it.
Right.
Which, Eric actually helped me find this card. The guy had it behind, I was looking at some cards in his showcase. He goes, "Oh, I have a couple more," and he pulled them out. They weren't even in his display case,
Wow.
and I was able to pick that up. Eric and I both looked at it and went, "Holy smokes, let's get that sucker!" So I was thrilled to death to get that. It's well centered, and so that's a steal. I mean, that's probably a $1,400 card now, and even then. But in terms of lower grade or lower kind of tiered cards, nothing just jumps out at me, Lou. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But you can absolutely find bargains. That's why I'm saying be patient,
Right.
You'll find auctions that end late at night, or, Probstein will be selling 6 of the same card, at the same time, and you can pick one off cheap. Don't be afraid to do that. And use sniping software if you don't already. You should.
I snipe it kind of myself. I'm really, really quick, like with my phone. But but I didn't even know that existed until I actually saw it on your video. Which, by the way, I just won a 2019 Topps Tier 1 Carlton Fisk autograph card for $5.50. Awesome.
Fantastic.
That just made my night.
I'm telling you. That's a whole nother ball game is Hall of Famer autographs. We could talk about that too.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm going to start. I have 2 that I'm going to send to PSA. One's an Al Kaline from 2000 Fleer Greats. Mm-hmm. That was the first autograph I ever pulled from a pack. And I have a Willie McCovey Upper Deck Epic Signatures. I think they're 99, I think it might be. Mm-hmm. I got to check.
Both of those. I have both those cards.
Do you? I love. Yeah. But I mean, the McCovey, I remember buying it because I was in a mall when my oldest son was young, and they had the card shows in the mall, and so I just noticed it, and I was like, "Is that a Willie McCovey autograph?" And it was like $10, and I was just like, "I have to buy that because I just the Hall of Famer."
Yeah, and that set's a beautiful set.
Yeah, it is great. I like it. I like it a lot. I would love to have the Ted Williams one.
I do not have the Ted Williams one either. No.
Ooh, I might look for that at the National.
It's a pricey card.
Yeah. But, which brings me to the National. Now, this year, I'm going to the National for the very first time ever. And you are going to the National. What National will this be? Number?
4th.
4th?
Only my 4th.
Really?
Yeah, but my first one was in 1990.
Okay.
And then I went in 2014 in Cleveland, last year in Cleveland, and this will be my first one in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
This is going to be my first time in Chicago, period. So I am going to do some sightseeing. Going to see my Mets play the White Sox, a team that they might be able to beat. And
as you should. Yeah, you should go. Absolutely.
So, okay, so this is your 4th, but you're a veteran. I watched your videos from last year, especially once I realized that I was gonna go, because I kind of decided semi last minute.
Yeah.
But one thing I've heard from other people is that and you said this was an understatement when I spoke to you yesterday, that it can be overwhelming. So,
absolute overload.
Okay, so now I'm going to make at least one higher end purchase, maybe 2, because since I sold my Trout autograph, I'm playing with a little bit of house money there. So I think one of the cards I'm going to look for that I really, really wanted was a bench rookie. I appreciate catchers. I was a Gary Carter fan. I was a catcher. Both my sons were catchers. So that I may look for that. So what advice would you give me going into the National for the first time?
Well, let's talk. I'll use the bench rookie as an example of a piece of advice I would give you is there will be 100 of them there, literally, at least, right?
Right. Really?
And so, and by the way, that's a great card to pick. That's a very affordable Hall of Famer rookie.
Right.
And so don't buy the first one you see. Don't buy the second one you see. Walk the floor. You should literally not buy one until you've walked the whole floor. And because the minute you do, but now when you see one that's a good deal, note it, but as good a deal as you think it might be, you'll walk 2 aisles over and you're like, oh, I could have saved money, whatever, however many dollars or whatever. But so again, don't settle, just like in all the other aspects of this hobby, and be patient and walk the floor. Just soak it in, because you're there how many days?
I'll be there the whole time. I'm not leaving till Sunday, but I'm going to be doing other things. So most of the days I probably will go to the National, maybe almost every day, but in the morning.
Okay. So you'll need, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours to walk the floor one time.
Wow.
And at least take a peek at some things,
Right.
But it's so weird because you'll have tables that you just will know instantly by looking at it that that's not your cup of tea. It's
right.
Football or, just whatever, something you're not looking for.
Right.
And then there's vintage on vintage on vintage on vintage. And don't be afraid to ask a dealer if you don't see you see a lot of vintage, a lot of slabs. You're like, just say, hey, do you have any bench rookies? It'll take them 2 seconds to answer. Yes, no, maybe. And you move on, because again, like how I found that Hank Aaron rookie, is because I asked.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And so, other pieces of advice are just, gosh, it's so unbelievably overwhelming in terms of just the massive amount of cardboard that's there, and just enjoy it, take it in, soak it in. That's it. I mean, wear good shoes, wear comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. Maybe that might have been. Was that in one of your videos? 'Cause I remember somebody saying that wear comfortable shoes. That's a big one.
Everybody says it because it's the truth. It's absolutely.
So right now, my plan is to go when I'm going to go to the Sneak Peek Wednesday. Now the three free autographs for the VIPs, they do that right away, right?
There's a VIP party from 3 to 4. I think so the 3 guys will be in that party, and then they'll move out to the floor for everybody. They'll be also sign on the floor, I think, for an hour each. And they're kind of staggered. Like one starts at, I can't remember who does. You can look at the schedule, but somebody starts at 4:30. A couple guys start at 4, and and you can get as many as you can stand in line for. You just got to go through the line again. So
I picked up a couple. My guy, I'm a Knicks fan, so
I have that exact card to get signed by him.
I saw that I saw in the video, and I had actually ordered it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I picked this up too. I just always like this card, Ryan Klesko. It's a nice looking card. And
93 Ultra.
Yeah. Who's the third?
Drew Pearson.
Thank you. I could off the top of my head. I picked up 70, not the rookie card, the one after 76, I think it is.
Yeah,
but
I have that.
That's the one you have too. That's coming in the mail tomorrow. So I'd like to get those 3. And then, did I read right that PSA will authenticate them?
They will. But it $10 maybe, 15.
$10,
something like that. Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that. And then I'm gonna walk that whole floor Thursday and try to write down what tables I see what at. Oh, because the 65 Mantle, that's another one that I'm looking for. Because 65 is my favorite set.
You want to see a 65 Mantle?
I would love to see a 65 Mantle.
Well, I think I have one. Let me see. I gotta get to the right drawer. What card number is he?
I do not know off the top of my head.
Never mind, I found it.
Oh, okay.
So there's the.
Yep.
I have it at 5.
Oh, that's a nice one. Yeah, I was looking. I was looking on eBay's at 4s. That's a nice looking card.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so on Mantle, Aaron Mays, you cannot. Well, that's not true. You can get collector grade or better, but on a budget, you need to settle for.
Right.
And I just said don't settle, but I mean you need to accept. Like this is a 5, which is I'm perfectly happy with on a 65 Mantle, well centered, little print dot. But so don't be afraid on Mantle to accept a little bit lower grade to be able to afford it and not blow your whole budget on one card. You could, but that wouldn't.
No. I'm trying to turn that trap into 3 decent cards. So it's probably going to be.
I got this one last year at the show. I'd have to watch my video again to remember what I
saw that talking about that in one of your videos.
Maybe 300 maybe.
Yeah, that's what right now I'm hoping to get maybe something around 250 for a Mantle. Like if I see a Mantle, if I see a 4, maybe around between 250.
Don't be afraid to negotiate, man. Do not be afraid to. I mean, they're there to sell cards. They're there to sell them for as much as they can get. You're there to buy them for as cheap as you can get.
Right.
So you're already against each other, but at the same time,
right.
You both want this ultimate. Yeah, that's right. There's an ultimate goal of there needs to be an exchange of money for cardboard, and so, and if you don't like it, walk away. If you're not happy, walk away.
I gotta remember that because I don't want to be that. I'm gonna definitely not impulse buy. I'm gonna take your advice, but I'm so excited. Like I can't help myself. I'd like to get the bench for maybe around $100. That's usually pretty. That shouldn't be too hard. I don't think.
No, you can get a 6 for 100.
Yeah,
I would think.
Nice. That'd be perfect. Nice, man. I'm so excited. What? So you said I know you've talked about this in some of your videos, but. What are you looking for? Which I watched your video, by the way, of all the guys talk about what they're looking for at the show, and I thought Eric's was the funniest because he wants answers to Slabgate and friends,
which he will not get answers to Slabgate.
Right.
What's funny about that video? You just I think kind of alluded to it. I didn't even say what I'm looking. I asked everybody to do it, and then I forgot. I meant to do that. At the end, and I just literally didn't do it. I just forgot. So I'm cards, I guess. I want to get a Stan Musial rookie, probably 48 Bowman. Yeah. And I want to get a Clemente rookie, which that will absolutely happen because I'll either buy one on the floor or I'm going to buy one from Filmington. Right. So I've got it pretty much in the bag. I just got to decide that's the great part. I get to pick there'll be hundreds of Clemente rookies there. And I get to, if I find a great deal, great. I'll pull the trigger. If I don't, I got one coming on Friday. So either way, I'm going to win on that deal.
And I'm sure you'll pick up other things as well, but those.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But those are your 2 big fish you're looking to grab.
Yeah. And, they're not cheap cards. So it'll probably be half my budget just for those 2 cards. Right.
Now, how do you feel? I know you're only buying graded cards, correct?
I do.
So you wouldn't, if I find let's say I find an ungraded 65 Mantle for a really, really good price. Have you ever done that? You maybe seen something that's ungraded and you buy it and then especially not vintage?
Nope. I don't even touch
it. Because of trimming, counterfeiting, things like that.
Yep. Yeah. I've been doing this a really long time and I can't even tell a lot of times. So I'd rather, and look, now what you're not seeing, I think, what people aren't talking about on Slabgate is, they're selling trim, they're getting a lot of trimmed cards and all this kind of junk. it's really on the high end. Not so much on the mid-grade stuff, and they're not fake cards, and so that's what I worry about most, is buying a fake,
right.
and or something that's just severely doctored that I can't pick up with my untrained, eye, and
Right.
so just buy a slab, man. At least then it's legit. And has it been screwed with? I don't know, but
Right.
I don't know if that mantle I just showed is screwed with or not. I doubt it. It's only a 5, so, and it's only a couple $100 card. It's not, you know what I mean? So I do it because it looks good. It's already slabbed. You're not going to pay, that much more for that. There's no premium really to having it slabbed already,
Right.
and you're not going to find a really nice bench rookie for $50 instead of paying $100 for a 6 and a slab. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So you might as well just buy the slab. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that's.
No, yeah, you are. Because that's one I thought about. Oh, I'll buy some cards, especially with some of like the cards from the '80s and stuff like that, and then I'll buy them cheap and have them slabbed, and then I was just like, you talking about, then whatever you're buying the card for, you're adding $20 to get it slabbed, plus all the
Right.
time and effort that I don't have.
And
so
there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee it's going to come back the grade you expect it to.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Right.
Oh, this is a 9 all day, and it comes back a 6, and you're like, what the heck, man? I should have just bought the 9 for $5 more or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just, why mess with it?
Yeah,
Way too much aggravation.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going with from now on. I'm buying slab cards, unless like I can't find one. Like actually today just came in the mail my home run number 70, and I could not find this card in a slab anywhere. I've tried for so long, and finally I found one in an SGC slab, and it was up by now, and I was like, but it was $50, and I was like, well, if this is the only one I can find, and it's still here after National, then I'll buy it. And then I found this one for $10 on Slab.
So that card for my top 300 set, I did buy raw, and I sent it in myself, and I got a 10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. This one looks like it's in pretty decent shape by my eye. So, $10. I'll take it. But I looked for slabbed, and I could not find any of them.
I'm doing the same thing with the Sosa autograph from '96 Leaf.
That's right. That's the.
I had to buy it raw.
That's another one I'm going
to look
for. I've never.
And so I'm going to send
anywhere.
Yeah, they're like hen's teeth. You never see them. And so I jumped on it when I saw it raw.
Right.
And I'm happily going to submit it at the National to get graded. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna look for that card. That's another card I'm gonna look for at the National. That Sosa autograph.
Like all the stuff in that set is okay to pick up raw, like the Jimmy Fox back card or the
right.
There's a lot of cards in the '90s that but I'm talking about vintage, right?
Vintage card, right?
Screw with it. Just buy a slab.
Good advice. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. So what day you're getting there right away? Wednesday at the National, and
I am Wednesday.
Anybody sees you, they're welcome to come up, say hi. Hey, I like your videos.
Sure, they do. They are. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Of course. And I'm always grateful for that and humbled by that because I just started YouTube just because it was fun. It still is. I've been doing it for years, and I enjoy doing it and enjoy sharing my. I mean, what's the point of having this awesome, cool collection, which some people think I have one, some people don't, but why if you can't share it? And I've made so many great friends through this community, through this medium of YouTube. I wouldn't trade for anything. I mean, I talk to my YouTube friends now more than I talk to my regular friends. Wow. And it's because we share this hobby, this passion for, old men in tight pants on pictures. And it's a pretty it's a pretty tight knit community. You've probably experienced that in just your short time on YouTube, and
Yeah, I'm starting to. Everybody's been great.
yeah, and that will not change. That opinion will not change because people are great, and it's genuinely a community. There's tremendous generosity. It's so cool. And so I forgot where I was going with that, but the YouTube has just been a fun thing, and people do come up to me. I had somebody come up to me at a Rangers game not long ago, and I was like, they're like, "Are you a baseball collector?" And I'm like, "Yes." And it's weird because I wasn't feeling good that night. I was sick, and so I was walking around the stadium,
right,
and just trying to. I was freezing. It was cold because I was running a fever, and so I wanted to walk around to warm up, and a kid stopped me. He was like 15, 16 years old. And I said, the funny part is of the story, not that he stopped me, but that I said, "Well, are you subscribed to my channel?" He goes, "No." And he goes, "I just watch your videos all the time." I'm like, and that's true. I'm like, well, why don't you sub to my, not that at the end of the day, if people just enjoy it and whatever, that's fine. But man, I just try to be myself. And I mean, what you see is what you get when you watch my videos. That's who I am. And
that's awesome.
Just try to share some knowledge, as Eric would say. And, there's so many people in this community that know so much about the hobby. It's insane. And I've learned a ton watching everybody else too, and made some great friends. So yes, of course, people can come up to me and say hi. I'd be honored if you did it. So,
all right,
sure.
Awesome. Because
Except you.
If I had to talk to you, that's what I was gonna do. That was like I was probably gonna look for you before I found the autographs. To be honest.
Oh well, now you don't have to do that. I'd be like, "What are you doing, man? You need to go out and find cards. Come on, you're not here to meet me. Good grief."
Right. I know you mentioned maybe about doing. Are you gonna do a podcast?
I'm thinking about it. I've been encouraged by some guys to do that.
Yeah, you should.
I mean, I do have a face for radio, so that makes some sense. But I need to learn how to do it, and maybe you can give me some tips on that off of this. But
absolutely.
I worry about running. I want to keep it regular and do it regular and make sure I have enough to talk about. I think I could. I have videos, going back years and years, right? So it's not like people. I have plenty to rehash if I needed to about collecting and my collection and all that. So my dog's barking. Sorry. Seriously, right. Norman.
No worries.
Anyway, so I'm thinking about it. It's definitely. I wanted to get through the national. So
yeah, I think you should do it. I mean, and you could simulcast on YouTube and have your YouTube videos turned into podcasts. There's a lot of ways to do it. I've had my podcast for about 2 years.
And I think it's
and it's a lot of fun.
About cards.
No, actually, my podcast is about nothing at all. It's basically just kind of a comedy podcast, or we just go through like me and two of my friends. We go through like the news of whatever's going on. Sometimes we have like really cool guests and stuff like that. Like I had Jeff Pearlman on. I don't know. Jeff Pearlman on twice actually. He's awesome. He actually sent me an autographed book and stuff. It's turned out to be a really cool experience, but it's a little different than YouTube. If you ever listen to podcasts, it's called the Lou Capetta Show with Jeff Fenner.
Well, I'll have to go check that out. I would want to do that too, that format of doing interviews and having guests, because no one wants to listen to me for 30 minutes or however long a podcast is.
Right.
And I enjoy doing I have an interview show on my YouTube channel called Beyond Cardboard.
Yep.
And getting to talk to other YouTubers, and I really enjoy that format. I enjoy doing that.
Those would make a great podcast. They really would.
Yeah. So, but it would just be more probably just hobby related, because they are more YouTube centric people. And what kind of, if you were to say what pisses me off most about YouTube, it's that you can't do this simple on YouTube where you're sharing video. Because what I hate about Beyond Cardboard is it's just me, sitting there, and that's again boring as all get out. Because I'm just sitting there nodding, and yes, and or I'm I'm writing down questions, and people are thinking I'm being rude to my guests because I'm listening to them. I'm just writing down questions because I'm having to follow the chat and all this stuff.
Right.
And so it's not the greatest of, YouTube doesn't give us a way to kind of simulcast video and share video live, or you can do it like we're doing, but
right.
live doesn't allow for that. And that's a shame, but whatever.
There's I mean, I'll fill you in about some stuff off air, but there is a way to do it. There's a program
Through Google Hangouts.
No.
Oh, okay.
Wait, are you a PC or Mac guy?
I'm on my iPad right now.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah. So
even on my camera. If I had a camera on my computer, I could do it.
right. Yeah. So there's Ecamm makes like this is right now what I'm using is a program called Skype Recorder, but they also have FaceTime Recorder, and they have I forget the name of it. It's something live where it'll broadcast live on Facebook or YouTube, but it'll be like this. And I think you have up to like 4 people. It's really I have it too. I'll dig in my computer and I'll let you know the exact name of it. And
all right,
I'll send you a link and you could look at all the stuff.
All right, let's not bore everybody with our.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. Whatever. This is like the. Hey, if anybody wants to start doing videos and stuff like this, this is some stuff you just learned, extra stuff. All right, so this was actually I really appreciate this. This is gonna be my last video before the national. And
mine too.
I will see you at the national. Before we go, you got anything you want to say to anybody? Like you one thing that before you go?
Well,
or?
As an example that you are in this whole area, dude, if you're thinking about making videos, go do it. I mean, it's a great community, and there's a lot of guys out there that I think just lurk and watch and don't participate in the community. And I think they're missing out. And I mean, to me, I'm shocked that the YouTube sports card community isn't even bigger than it is. And it shocks me how many people I know collect that aren't on YouTube. And I think it's a great medium. They're on forums and on other ways to communicate with the hobby, but I think they're missing out. And so if you're thinking about it, man, go out and just, it doesn't take much. It takes a phone.
That's it.
You need a phone. And it's not hard. So would love to see more and more videos. I mean, I'm subscribed to, I don't know, 300 channels probably, and they're all sports card related. So there's a lot of people out there, and
so get out there
it's
and
only
do
growing.
it.
Yeah, just go do it.
Nice. All right, Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you again, and I will see you sometime at the National.
We'll be there shortly. All right, my friend. Thanks.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. See you, buddy.